Well, I wasn't going to do anything today because it's freezing out here. But I saw this statue here in like a little garden. It's just across the bridge, more or less, about maybe half a mile down from Lincoln. And it is George Mason. Actually, I took some free, well, not free actually, they're courses that were cheap as heck at George Mason University over here in Virginia a couple of years ago that were given by the Chinese government for next to nothing. It was like $100. You know, you take a course over there, it's thousands. But this was subsidized by the Chinese government at George Mason University. And that was it. But I don't know much about the man, not a historian, but reading here obviously was against sort of interesting principles. He says, regarding slavery, that slow poison which is daily contaminating the minds and morals of our people. Every gentleman here is born a petty tyrant, practiced in acts of despotism and cruelty. We became callous to the dictates of humanity and all the finer feelings of the soul, taught to regard a part of our own species in the most abject and contemptible degree below us. We lose that idea of the dignity of man, which the hand of nature made implanted in us for great and useful purposes. That's by George Mason. Wow. I recommend it to my sons never to let the motives of primitive interests or ambition to induce them to betray, nor the terrors of poverty and disgrace, or the fear of danger or of death, deter them from asserting the liberty of their country and endeavoring to transmit to their posterity those sacred rights to which themselves were born. Well, they're pretty good words. But actually, what I wanted to talk about is free information. I saw a report today that they finally released all the names of the businesses who got the PPP. I was astounded that they weren't giving that out initially. I mean, all the names of anybody who got a small business loan ever is all public information, or a grant in the government. All that is public information. And all of a sudden, I don't know, with the PPP, they weren't giving that. Then eventually they gave them like in general information. But now all that data is available. I don't know how many millions of names. And you could see that 1% of the people got 20% of all the money, which is normal, right? Living in this country, we sort of assume that. I don't think George Mason would put up with that, but now it's all available. And you could get that information. I've gotten it in the past. I used to have a database where I let everybody see it. You could put in your zip code and see all the people in your zip code that got government money. So you could get that information for free and put it on the internet and sell it if you want. I mean, people in this country, I mean, I do it. I've taken books from the government printing office and sold millions of copies that you could get from the government printing office. I sold them a lot cheaper, but it was the same information. See, all this information the government has is not copyrighted. So you could take that information, resell it, do anything you want. What I used to give away too is like, you know that picture you've seen of Elvis and shaking hands with Richard Nixon in his cape? Nixon didn't have a cape, Elvis did. That's public information. You take all those, any of the government pictures and sell them you want. Anything. National Archives. There's famous photographers that have information in the National Archives that you could sell, copies of their famous pictures and not pay a royalty or anything. It's public information, and that's what's important, that we are all part of the public. And that's why I'm trying to get people to realize that this information is for everybody, whether you use me or anybody else. You could get it yourself. It's public information. If they don't give it to you, you're right of a Freedom of Information Act letter. If you don't know how to do that, the Department of Justice has sample letters that you could write. And also, you know what you could get is you could find out what information the FBI has about you. Go to the FBI Freedom of Information Act letter, and it shows you how to write that letter so you can get any secret stuff they have about you. And that's public information. Anybody could do it. Go to fbi.gov if there is such a thing. I don't know. You could Google that and see. I am freezing out here, guys. Sitting down isn't so comfy. So listen, I just did a couple of videos you should see. One is how the state stimulus package money, every state has a whole bunch of money they have to give out by the end of this year. So start looking at your state or anywhere else about the stimulus checks. I mean, already like Colorado, Michigan, a couple other states, and I see even cities, I think Houston and New Mexico are giving out stimulus checks like $1,200 between now and the end of the year. And that's going to be limited, so you got to get in line for that quickly. And so don't forget to look for those stimulus checks in 2020. Now, Congress is still working on a new stimulus package, but even if they hope to get something done in the next week or two, but even if they do, it's not going to come out till next year. So you can get a check this year for $1,200 from your state, see what they have, and then next year get the federal one. So that's what, $2,400 in just a couple of months. So, but it takes work. And see, it's not only the state, it's the city, it's the county, nonprofit organizations. A lot of these states give it to nonprofits. So bang away. When in doubt, ask your elected official, members. You could go to Let's Go Help on our Facebook closed group. I give you a list of all the state sources to check that have them in your state. But if not, there's no magic. When I get back home, I'll put in the description in the what do we got? YouTube, right? The YouTube description box, how to find them. It's a step-by-step. There's 3 videos I'll put in there for you to find them. Hey, my hands are freezing. This old guy got to keep moving. Got to get this blood going. Say goodbye to what's his name? George Mason. There he is. See him? He's just sitting there. Sounded like a smart guy. Sort of had a little morality above everybody else. So I would look into what he has to say.